how to be solution oriented in management consulting. Hi everyone, my name is Johannes. I'm a strategy consultant, and on this channel I share my learnings, thoughts and experiences about consulting, management and mindset. And if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe to it. Also hit the like button. This will help to grow the channel. And today we have a very important topic. We talk about how to be solution oriented in consulting. And maybe to start this video, imagine the following situation. So you worked on a slide deck, maybe an entire week, maybe even 2 weeks. Then one day before the final presentation, you sent a slide deck to your project partner, maybe to the client, maybe to a project leader or a teammate to receive some feedback. Then you wait and you wait and you wait, and then suddenly you get this email or you get this call, and on the other line you have a person that is not really happy, and then you start a discussion and this person says, okay, we need to do all of it again, or at least most of it. And in this situation there are mostly two types of personalities that you see in consulting. The first type of people are the people who just say yes to everything. The second type of people are people who say just no to everything. Let's first talk a little bit about the first type of people. And those are people who typically, if they receive some change requests, say yes all the time. Because those are typically the people who want to do everything perfectly. Also, they never want to push back because they don't want to kind of get in a conflict with their superiors or with the client. And they take on every task because, you know, those are the typical workers in your team. They want to do everything perfectly. They just say yes to every task, and that's why also in those situations they say yes, and this typically leads to a situation where they work on the entire night in order to implement the feedback. Well, the big issue here is that this is exactly the reason why people in management consulting work those long hours, and if you're not able to get in control of that, this will typically lead to burnout in management consulting. And then you have this other type of people, and those are the people who push back very, very strongly. Because those are the people who learned over time that if they do not push back, they are in those situations where they have to work through the entire night. So their first reflex is always to push back, to say no. They go into very heavy discussions even for the slightest change requests. So they go into a very, very heavy fight. And they, for all costs or under all costs, want to avoid those extra working hours in order to not to get burned out. The thing here is that this also leads to a problem because those people typically have a kind of difficult relationship to the teammates, to the supervisors, or to the client, because those people are known for always pushing back. This kind of creates a working environment where you say, okay, it's very hard to feedback your documents or your work because all the time I get this kind of pushback. So both ways of dealing with that situation are, in my opinion, wrong. And there's one way that really helps you to deal with that situation, to be solution oriented while at the same time avoiding unnecessary work. And this is the following. What I always recommend, that if you are in a situation where you receive some feedback, that you really try to find out what the main reason or what the real reason of the feedback actually is. So I would try to really understand the situation of the other person and really try to understand what they mean if they give you this feedback. Because very often, if you get a call from the partner and the partner says we need to do the slide all over again, in only very few cases you actually have to do the entire slide again. In most cases it's enough, you know, if you change the core message of the slide. Maybe the analysis was right, but maybe the action title was wrong. Or maybe, you know, the content is okay, but maybe just the slide flow or the arrangement is wrong. So you don't have to do everything again, but you only have to change some pieces of the slide. And the key to do that is that you really take a step back and really try to understand what is the actual problem. Is it the messaging? Is it, that the wording doesn't fit to a certain stakeholder, that maybe the content doesn't align with the strategy of one of your key clients, or maybe with the story that the partner wants to tell. So take a step back and really try to understand what the real point of the person is if they give you feedback. And then you have to do the following. You need to find a approach, so reflect on the feedback that you received, and really try to reflect the feedback, the wish of your partner, of the client, of your team member, while at the same time try to find a way to avoid necessary work. So for example, what you could do would be, for example, to suggest to just adjust the main wording instead of changing the entire slide. This typically helps very often to avoid unnecessary extra work. Or maybe you just change the order of the slide deck instead of changing the entire slides of a chapter. Or maybe you just add one additional storytelling slide instead of rearranging the entire slides that you have in the deck. And believe me, if you take a step back and really try to understand what the real feedback of this person is, and if you try to find a way that on the one hand reflects and incorporates the feedback of the person, but on the other hand finds a very smart way in avoiding extra unnecessary work, this is usually the key. And based on my experience, this really helps to be considered as being very solution oriented by your teammates, by your project partner, by the project leader, but also by the client, while at the same time being able to manage your own workload. And especially if you become a project manager, for example, or a senior consultant where you have some responsibility for your teammates, that you also avoid unnecessary work for them. Of course, I'm interested what you think. So do you have other tips? Then please leave it in the comments. Also, if that brought value to you, then please like this video and subscribe to this channel. And with that being said, I wish you a very successful day. Hope to talk to you soon. Goodbye, Johannes.